Hello and welcome to the Soul Tree Diaries. I've literally just spilt tea on my top just as I was about to start filming. Right over my brand new microphone, which says don't get wet because they're not waterproof. So welcome to the Soul Tree. I'm Martine Shelley. This is the kind of person that I am. Oh dear. Right. So, the internet tells me that apparently 17 minutes is an optimal time to talk on YouTube and do a video. And I quite often have a lot to say, and 17 minutes goes by really quickly. So, we're going to get started. Welcome, I am Martine Shelley. This is the Soul Tree Diaries. And I'd like for you to view this channel, I guess, as a little bit of a home. There's probably going to be a different room for whatever it is that you might need in that moment. I have a wonderful tree that I live with. For 20 years, I've lived under an amazing oak tree. And, sorry, I can hear people in the background, totally distracted. Honestly, there we go. So, I'd like for you to see it as a home, basically is what I'm trying to say. There's a room for many different things. There's a room to sit and come and chat about, I like talking about many, many different topics. So if you've got a fascinating topic to come and chat with me about, come and chat. I like getting to know new topics and new things. There's going to be a space for the nature under the tree, the wonderfulness of the oak tree, everything about it, just the seasons, the rhythm, the flow. That I'm looking forward to a lot. I don't know how it will pan out because it's not yet happened or planned, but it will happen. There'll be a nature series. And then there's going to be the 3D diaries. And this is going to be the room where if you like going in to inner thoughts and spaces and curiosities of the mind, it's a space for you. Come and join me and be curious about the mind and the body and the soul and all of that, because I like really talking about it all and discussing it. But we can do that in gatherings. In the 3D diaries, this is where I get to bring my mind to you. And what does that mean? So let us begin. So today is a big day. As well as spilling tea on my new equipment and my top, it's also the beginning of the Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year. Entering into the year of the fire horse. So three things that collide: the new year, the new lunar year, and the fire horse. So let's just look at those three things for a little bit, out of curiosity, just to see. So today is a new moon, the beginning of the new lunar year. That's what that is. There's no moon, it's a new moon. We begin the new moon today. So today is the day where things start shifting in the other way in terms of energy, hopefully warmth, hopefully dryness. It's been raining in Devon for a long time. So it's a new moon. I was born on a new moon. Interesting, just a fact, just is. My partner Andy, he was born on a new moon. Just a fact, it is. And on the 1st of August 2008, we also met under a new moon. They're just facts. It just is. But it makes it feel a bit more comfortable. It's go, that's nice. The synchronicities of life. They're places to breathe and go, oh, that feels okay. That feels nice. So when you cross that information over to look at the different kinds of relationships you can have and the different ways that relationships look and act and function, because the way we all have relationships sit in places and functions and labels and categories, and it's quite helpful to understand. So in that field, when you put those bits of information, and also given our relationship, and that's it, we've very much been a mirror for each other throughout our relationship of 17 and a half years. And so that information means that we are a twin flame relationship, if you look at it in categories. If you look at it in our relationship, it's been a really long, challenging, just most incredible relationship I've had of my life. And the mirror of it is that what you see in the frustrations and the challenges that you look at is the place that you have to look yourself to grow and thrive. And so we have been that for each other in abundance, in every way. In every way. So there's synchronicities in when we just look at simple things like that today is a new moon, it's the start of a new year. There's synchronicities within that. What do they mean? And then we step into the year of the fire horse. And for many people, what the fuck's that? Well, fire horse, it's movement. It's simply that. It's movement. It's movement. It means that the stable doors are open. And we can gallop. We can gallop, and the galloping begins. So, now, I was born in the year of the horse. I was born in the year of the earth horse. Again, it's just information, it's just facts. What does it mean? And these are the things that I'm curious about and I like looking at and thinking over and making my own. There's no sense in that. It just is. It's just information. It is, and it feels, it's nice. And you can feel it within. It's real. So, the stable doors are open. The galloping has begun. And my movement and energy has started to, which has been wonderful. Because for a long while, it's been very flat and the silt of life has been heavy. But the purging happened and the silt has shifted. And now there's lightness and movement and energy again. There are rhythms to life. There are rhythms if we look and we see. And watching patterns is of a particular interest to me. Oh, see, no, I don't really want to speak about all that right now. That's a lot of words. But it is interesting. So it says, if a soulmate is a soft blanket, a soulmate, if a soulmate is a soft blanket, a twin flame is a spotlight in the dark. And when you can recognize which one of those relationships perhaps you might be in, it can just sometimes be a bit more like, oh, okay. All right, so there's actually method behind all of this. There's method in the madness, so it seems. Because we both have the same experience of being in that kind of relationship. And it's okay to acknowledge that it's not one, but it's the other, because it's exactly what you need. So for 17 years, we've been a mirror. And another interesting fact is that my partner also spent 15 years working as an engineer on aircraft, fixing and tinkering with planes. the very planes that my fathers and forefathers worked on in the military, in the RAF. Fascinating, hey? These little synchronicities in life, they just pop up again. So he knows metal, he knows grease. And he can sense an engine from a mile away. He can feel its rhythm, sense and see in to what he's sensing from the noise in the plane. Now I know I don't hear anything when he says, "Oh, what's that?" I'm like, "Dunno, babe, dunno." So he has an engineer's mind. It's under his skin. So it seems we may be two engineers of a kind, side by side, stripping back the silts of life. So welcome. Welcome to the Soul Tree Diaries. This series is the 3D Diaries. And perhaps that may have just given you a taster of what I mean. That's the way I see the world. That's how my mind sees. My name is Martine Shelley. And I'd really like you to see this as a home and as a place of gathering of souls who like to explore and discuss the world in curious ways and sit under the tree. There's a tiny little, oh, did I bring my bird sheet out with me? No, it's a blue tit. It's a tiny one, it's not a great tit. He's gone. It's cold today. Oh, it's cold. So yes, there'll be gatherings. I'd love for us to sit and do craft and chat and natter. I know that there's already a planned, scheduled gathering, I think on the 5th of March, where Sarah Lammerton will be joining me in the shed, and we'll be discussing health in terms of our health and what we're doing and having to do to help us just feel right in our bodies, in who we are as women, approaching our 50s, perimenopausal, mothers, running families. It's a lot. So there's a space for all of that stuff too, because whilst it's really fascinating for me to sit into the 3D mind and go into that inner space of healing, it's also really important that we have a balance and ensure that the work that we do is tangible and recognizable in our actual living world, because if we are only doing this inner work in our minds, then it stays there in a dream. So for me, this work, it's really important to see the tangible impact of what it is that we're doing by trying to bring healing and growth to ourselves and change everything about the way that life's feeling and sensing. And I think about 10 years ago now, I recognized that our home was not a happy place, and we were in pain and we were all suffering. And I guess you could say it was an engulfed home. We were in shadow. Inside the house, it was shadow and black. It was dark. It was heavy. It was hard. And it made me really ill. And it's taken a long time to recover and come out of that shadow and that shell. But when I was in that moment in the hallway inside this house, I had a moment where I looked around at the chaos in my life. And I said, what the fuck, Martine? What the fuck is going on in your home? Look around you, it's broken. There's no heart in your home. It's a hard pill to swallow, but I had to take it down because there was no one else going to come and step in and bring healing into our home. And that's when I recognized that this 3D thinking visual mind had been piecing something together for a very, very long time. And actually within me, I'd learnt what I needed to bring healing into my home, to fix what was broken. To bring warmth into our home. You see, for a very long time, there's been a lot of pattern spotting happening in my mind. Because you see, I grew up in the military. I grew up in the RAF. We moved every year of our lives. It was a fruitful experience. There was lots of experiences and opportunities to thrive. But alongside that sits a gap, a hole, a place with a generational family and threads from the old. It's missing. You don't see it, it's invisible. But you recognize it when you step out of the military world and you see into the families who've grown close around. Not as just an observation, just recognizing patterns you see. It started very, very young in me. I'm also a boarding school attendee. A very interesting life I've had. Boarding school is a place where you can thrive in many ways, but it's also a place where you can hide and be invisible in plain sight. Especially perhaps when the focus is on your academic abilities or your sporting abilities. I could hide in plain sight. Many people know me for my motherline work or working with women and helping them with that side. But today I want to bring in the father line instead. You see, I am an engineer's daughter. Not just an engineer's daughter, but an engineer's granddaughter too. My forefathers were military, RAF, engineers. They know how to tinker with the geometry of the outside world. Oh, see, said 17 minutes, I'm now at 18. We're getting there. Be patient. It's a picture I paint. The visuals we'll see. The logics may be like, can you just hurry up and get to the point? And he's home. So where was I? So yes, so engineering, it's in my blood. The archetype of the engineer is within me. But the gift that came down to me through that engineering mind helped me bring this into the female line. The world doesn't usually allow space for this internal geometry. But that's what I'm bringing you. I'm bringing you the engineering of the female mind, the female engineer, if you like. Now, on top of this, I'm not sure if I've mentioned already, maybe I have, maybe I haven't, who knows. I'm also what you may refer to as dyslexic. You see, you think we do things backwards. We can't quite get to those logical words that you need until we've spoken the movie scene that we see. There's a big leap between me and you. And sometimes we get a bit stuck in between. Because our minds think visually, and you perhaps hear words. When your words come through to me, they go through to a back burner movie scene. If it makes sense and I can see a picture, I understand you, I see you, I get you. But if what you say doesn't create a picture in my back brain, I only hear you, I don't see you, you don't make sense. And this is where the block happens. So I retain more like threads of DNA visuals. They go back into these back burner movies. And being a dyslexic, I found internal ways to manage these. And within my mind, there's doors, and behind each door is wisdom I've gathered from whatever it was that I was learning about. You see, when I go into a library, I'm blind. Because the library I learn from is in my mind. Visual thinking, 3D, dyslexic mind. So for years I carried silt within, where I'd not been able to find the words to speak what I was seeing within. And it's only through this journey of healing within our home, of having tangible results, of feelings in our home, finally things began to shift. Peace, presence were beginning to exist. And as this happened, something shifted in me. And all of a sudden, rhymes were coming out of me. Now, I've never been poetic in my life. I might be theatrical, but with words, no, not so much. So, when all of these silts finally started releasing from me, it came out in poems and verses of everything that I've sensed and seen. It was such a weight shifted, but I made myself ill in the process of moving such deep fucking muck from within this. My liver struggled. I kind of poisoned myself. But the releasing of that has just taken me somewhere else. And so now I get to bring to you over the year 52 cards, 52 chapters across the year of the mind's musings of a 3D visual thinking dyslexic. And if you've enjoyed listening to my mind's musings today, then I will be here 52 weeks, 52 chapters across the year to bring the exploratories of the mind to you. And don't forget, there's opportunity for you to come and sit and talk with me too. So, 24 minutes. Shit, it's going to be 30 minutes. Sorry. I will get there. But this bit, we'll get there. We'll get to 70. Whatever. So, the bit that I like doing as well is, let's skip through some, is that I like bringing perspective to all these things too. So, let's quickly go through the different ways in which people would view what I've just spoken to you from across around the world. Let's look at different ways in which all corners of the world would view and look at what I've described. So, the psychological mirror. What I call pattern spotting, the Western psychology calls what I call pattern spotting of generational, relational patterns and all of that. The Western psychology calls system family constellations. You aren't just an individual, you are part of a generational engine. The Silt is transgenerational epigenetics. So the Silt, the purging that came through when I made myself ill, poisoned myself a bit, that was the body releasing transgenerational epigenetics. The reality that your blueprint was installed with your ancestors' stories. You aren't broken, you're just running on outdated operating systems. Psychological mirror. What's called the somatic story. The back burner movie I described that I use, it's a form of high bandwidth sensory processing. So if you use that form of seeing the world, it's high bandwidth sensory processing. Doesn't that just make sense? Because it's what I see. When the poetry purged, that was somatic discharge. It's real. It's real what we have to go through and do to heal. You have to know what you're doing. That's what this year is all about, is knowing. Knowing what we're doing. That's it. It's quite easy to learn how to know what we need to do. I've done the hard work of reverse engineering what I've seen and discovered, and I get to bring it to you. So the traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda wisdom, we are balancing metal with fire. The horse energy melts the metal and reshapes it. We are clearing the armor for the emotional silt. We're clearing the energy channels so your life force can actually move. That's Chinese medicine and Ayurveda Indian. What's the construct reflection? So the 2D world labels dyslexic minds because it only understands a linear process, but you are a simultaneous processor. You see the whole 3D CAD model of the engine at once, just like engineers do. We know that this is how the engineering mind works. When they hear the engine, they can see into it, yes? Yes, so that is a 3D mind in an engineering archetype in a male. This is it in the female. Interesting, is it not? I find it fascinating, this stuff. So the paper I was given to write my life on was too flat for my dimensions. That makes a lot of sense. So, if you're up for an adventure, if you enjoy looking inwards and musing on these kind of things, then join me for a year. I'm going to come and sit here every week and share with you a chapter of the mind's musings that I've had throughout life. And if what I say makes sense to you, wonderful. But also, if you think what I say is total bollocks, then that's also okay too. It's completely okay. Take what you need and leave the rest in the shed with me. Let's go on a ride across the year and see where the fuck we end up. If you know somebody who might enjoy this kind of journey and adventure of learning and discovering, then send them a link. But just let them know to start at chapter 1. It's a story. It's a 3D diaries. I am Martine Shelley. Welcome to the 3D Diaries.